Hello everybody and welcome to Thesis Day, the day where we, the students here at SLU, celebrate our achievements. My name is Elin Fridlund and I am the Vice Chair of SLUS, the Joint Committee of the Student Union here at SLU.
And my name is Emma Brihal, Chair of Ultuna Student Union. We will be your host for this day of celebration and guide you through today's events. After the broadcast ends, we will move to wonder.me for some mingle, and then you can ask the students about their thesis. We also recommend that you visit the website slu.se/thesisday, where you'll find all the student projects covering a wide range of topics.
But for now, stay with us the next hour. We will have inspiral students presenting their research and then presenting the winner of the Best Poster Award. Very exciting.
So, to kick off this day, we welcome Deputy Vice Chancellor of SLU and Head of Education, Karin Holmgren.
Dear graduated or soon to be graduated, students, colleagues, alumni, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all to the Thesis Day year 2021. This is the second year that Thesis Day is going online. The switch from a physical event to a digital event was and is motivated by the need for adjustment due to the COVID-19 situation. Although many of us are missing the physical event, I'm happy to say that the visitors to the digital event last year was more than expected, and hopefully we will see the same thing today. In fact, an online Thesis Day is making the event equally accessible to everyone, regardless of which campus you are at. Thesis Day is the day especially dedicated to those of our students who very soon will complete or who have just completed their bachelor's degree, master's degree, or professional degree. Their studies are completed by a degree project, marking the independence that the students have reached. Today, SLU wants to honor you. I have scrolled through the great number of posters published. I have enjoyed the reading, and I'm impressed by the high quality and interesting topics that you have covered. Almost all posters circle around or focus on different perspectives of sustainability. Dear graduates, you play a crucial role in enhancing the importance of scientific and artistic knowledge for a sustainable and living world, for humans, animals, human societies, urban and rural, nature and culture. Through your studies, commitment, performance, and open minds, you can contribute to a good future. You can make use of the theoretical knowledge, practical skills, and generic competencies that you have acquired during your years here and become change makers. Maybe you believe that your work is not important enough, but you can be sure that it is a piece of a bigger puzzle and it's something you will carry with you and develop from. International relations, disciplinary as well as transdisciplinary education and research, open discussions and dialogues are needed to advance our understanding of the complex causes behind ecological, economic, and social dynamics. Such an understanding can provide vital links in the chain that can build sustainable development at local, regional, and global levels. SLU, not the least thanks to you, graduated, has a true possibility to contribute to this, and that is impressive. Every day at work, I feel privileged, and this is much thanks to you, dear students. I get energy from your enthusiasm, knowledge, intelligence, and straightforward constructive critique, negative as well as positive. This fills me with hope for the future. Please keep up your good work and the world will be better. I'm proud of you students, and you should be proud of yourselves. Thank you for your willingness to share with us today what you have learned and achieved. So, once again, welcome all to this happy moment. Welcome to our virtual Thesis Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Karin. Before the students present their research, we have a short but warm greeting from one of the 39,000 alumni of SLU.
Hi everyone, and congratulations to all of you that are graduating this spring, and also to all of you that are presenting your thesis today at Thesis Day. My name is Beatrice Ramnere. I am a former SLU student, and I studied the Master of Agriculture, and I graduated in spring 2015. Right after my graduation, I started working as strategic analyst on group level at Lantmännen, the agricultural cooperative here in Sweden. I now live in the north of Sweden, where I work as project manager with the aim to strengthen the agribusiness here. My best advice for you is to make contact with a lot of people and also to do things that you actually don't dare to do, because then you'll go far. My best wishes to all of you, and congratulations once again. Hi.
Hello folks, this is Emmy. I graduated in Environmental Economics and Management 2019. I would like to encourage you guys on your big day. First of all, congratulations. And you're going out to show the world who you are. Please challenge the world, show them what you got, and I wish you all the best. Thanks, and congratulations to you again.
Remember that if you are a student or you already graduated, you can sign up to be part of the SLU alumni network at slu.se/39000. You and your unique competence is important, and by staying connected, we can reach even better solutions. Now, it's time to introduce the first project that has been selected for an oral presentation during this live broadcast. These two students are studying at the Agriculture Economics program and have made a case study on how structures affect grain producers towards sustainability transitions through perennial grains. We welcome Karin Andrén and Ebba Kühlenstierna.
Thank you. We're honored to be here. I'm Ebba.
And I'm Karin. Let's start. Agriculture is facing a dilemma to ensure that ecosystem services are kept intact, but also to keep up the global food supply for the growing population. Food production destroys much of biodiversity and accounts for around 30% of all greenhouse gas emissions globally. According to the Research Institutes of Sweden, emissions from the food sector are expected to increase by 30 to 40% by the year 2050.
Can you imagine a grain that returns naturally year after year? Grain production is based on annual grains, such as oats, barley, and wheat. Current production methods are unsustainable due to the amount of tillage that contributes to the emissions and harms biodiversity, as Karin talked about. It's urgent to find effective ways that actually works to change the strongly institutionalized structure. Therefore, we're going to present an alternative production method today.
Farmers' actions, motivation, and view of the world affect what we as consumers get on the plate, and how the production of our food affects the environment. In this study, we have interviewed 6 grain producers in Skaraborg, Västra Götaland, to gain an understanding of how they and their soft values are affected by the rest of the industry in their work towards sustainability. And hopefully, more understanding can create an opportunity for development.
Various sustainability initiatives have been developed within the sector, and one that is relevant right now is Perennial Grains. For those who don't know, Perennial Grains return year after year, just like an apple tree or a high field. In the US, the wheatgrass kernza has been implemented, where the kernel is used for pasta and bread, and the straw is used for animal feed. SLU, together with others, are now testing whether it could work in Sweden or not. Challenges regarding the establishment of perennial grains in Sweden are overwintering in the Nordic climate and farmers' attitudes towards change, which is important because they are doing the job.
Compared with the existing system with annual grains, this perennial grain contributes with several benefits, such as reduced tillage, emissions and working hours, as well as reduced soil erosion, nutrient leakage, and reduced need for pesticides. Kernza has a large root system compared to annual grains. And as you see here on the picture, you see the development of the root system of annual wheat and the perennial wheat from 12 to 21 months. This root system makes the perennial grain more resistant to climate change, it prevents weeds, and it also pulls carbon dioxide out of the air.
Yes, and as I mentioned earlier, the attitude of grain producers are important for a sustainable agriculture in Sweden. To find out about their attitude to perennial grains and how their attitude is affected, we asked them about current sustainability work. All grain producers experienced ongoing sustainability work on their farms. For example, precision farming, regenerative agriculture, reduced driving, and organic farming. As you can hear, the perception of what is sustainable differed between them, which of course affects their sustainability actions.
So now you might wonder what our study showed. There is a positive attitude among all the interviewed grain producers towards perennial grains. One of them has already started a project with the perennial grain kernza that we talked about. He values risking profitability when the goal is to achieve more sustainability in the end. The others expressed a need of higher yield, a market with demand, and a higher profitability before an implementation. All of them mentioned that perennial grains can bring great benefits with the decreased tillage. They also mentioned that labor saving is important for motivation, as farming is a time-consuming work.
However, our interviewed grain producers perceived some important actors for them to be able to work more sustainably. They mentioned research, politics, consumer knowledge about sustainability, and grain producers as a whole. Perceived challenges that are created by the mentioned actors are a male-coded industry, research with the wrong focus, and a food chain where grain producers' products becomes anonymous to consumers, which makes it difficult for them to inform the consumer about the added values.
Underlying factors in the attitude to sustainability turned out to be norms, knowledge, and power. These factors play an important role in the ability of the grain producers to act sustainably. If there is enough knowledge to learn from, if the norm was that sustainability is in the main focus, and if those with power created sustainable structures, the situation would be different. Today, the majority of the producers feel that it's scary to break norms, that there is a lack of knowledge about what is sustainable, and that they are affected by how those with power, such as politicians and institutions, have created well-integrated structures.
So, where are we now? The grain producers cannot create a sustainable food system all by themselves. The positive attitude and willingness among them is inhibited by the system in which they operate. To facilitate their work towards a sustainable and profitable food production, sustainability must pervade the complex system. Changes in the sector are urgent due to the time it takes to change the established structures. Perennial Grains may not solve the whole problem, but at least it's a step in the right direction, knowing that there is a willingness to change. So, can you imagine a grain that returns naturally year after year? The thought doesn't sound as strange anymore, right? Thank you so much for your attention. It's been an honor presenting for you today.
Thank you, Karin and Ebba, for a great presentation. It was very interesting. And I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
How did you decide on your topic?
Both Karin and I are very interested in both sustainability and food production. And we know that there is a lot of problem with emissions and so from the sector. So we wanted to look at solutions and found Perennial Grains as one of them. And it was very interesting to read more about it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by your findings?
Yeah, a bit surprised. It was surprising that all of them knew Perennial Grains and that all of them were interested in implement it in the future. So that was very fun.
Yes.
And it was also surprising that they had very different view on sustainability.
Okay,
And that was fun to hear.
Yeah.
perfect. What was the most challenging part about writing your thesis? Was it easier to be two? Maybe?
I think during Corona, maybe,
Yeah.
because it was so nice to always have a company. And yeah, so I think that was a good thing. And the challenging part, maybe to narrow it down,
Yeah.
because from the beginning we wanted to solve like all the global climate crisis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was pretty challenging.
So you had a lot of data from the beginning?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
would
was.
say so.
Yeah, it was a lot about the reduced climate impact to read about. So
I see. Thank you so much. And I see you at the mingle.
Thank you.
thank
Yes.
you.
Let us welcome our next speaker, Emily Olson, who is a student at the Agriculture Program Rural Development. She has made a method study about the prepared citizen. Her intention was to examine who is prepared, why they prepare, and how people understand the preparedness. Let us welcome Emily.
Thank you so much. So, if crisis is just around the corner, where are you? To many Swedes, that is a difficult question to answer, because most of us are not prepared for crisis. Today, in 2021, emergency preparedness is, however, relevant, as we are living through, to many Swedes, a very impactful crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic. According to our government, everyone has some responsibilities in a crisis, but only 4 out of 10 fulfill these. To this background, I have focused on the minority that self-identify as prepared, trying to answer the question of how we can understand Swedish prepping today. So what is prepping? When you hear that word, you might get this image in your head. And this is not necessarily wrong, but let's be a bit more specific. Prepping is a set of activities performed by those planning to independently manage different types of crisis. Prepping activities are often centered around 6 core needs: hydration, nutrition, security, shelter, hygiene, and medicine. And prepping therefore often involves stockpiling water, food, and gear needed to manage for unknown periods of time without government help. I have used a mixed method study consisting of a survey with 464 respondents, as well as interviews with 10 people to answer my 2 research questions. So let's start by looking at the first one. Who is interested in preparedness? What motivates them to be? And how do they define being prepared for a crisis? To start, they're not an homogeneous group. They differ in age, in level of preparedness, in interests, in political standpoints and background, and they live all over Sweden. People living in the countryside have been prepared for longer and would therefore manage for longer than city and town residents. This is an indicator that preparing comes more naturally to people that live further from state authorities in more tight-knit communities and that are used to manage by themselves for longer, both in stable times and during crisis. Prepping is a consequence of both global events and individual happenings. To some, it's a natural part of their upbringing and with them throughout their lives. And to others, it is learned through experiences and exposure to crisis. To some, prepping is about meeting basic needs, and to others, it's about attitude. Some do not see their actions as prepping. Instead, they have a genuine interest in, for example, outdoor activities, self-sufficiency or hunting, which then prepping becomes a consequence of. Preparing for crisis is therefore not only about the crisis, but also about the preparing. Preparing is, to some, a hobby to engage in everyday life that provides value when life runs on as usual and there is no crisis. There are 5 factors that motivate the informants to start and continue to prepare for emergencies. These are the ability to manage in a crisis, fears, preparedness as a hobby, wanting to teach others, and to live a more sustainable lifestyle. These 5 can also be read in this order, from 1 to 5, looking at how prepping evolves, from wanting to manage better in a crisis to start thinking about the long-term aspects of preparing. But preppers exist in a wider social context, and for this reason, we need to look at the bigger picture, Swedish emergency preparedness. Let us therefore answer the second research question. How do citizens interested in preparing for the future view Swedish emergency preparedness and their own role in it? To many of my informants, it is not clear who oversees emergency preparedness. Many have low trust in the state's abilities in a crisis due to previous experiences, and therefore they instead emphasize the importance of community and helping each other in a crisis. Consequently, they feel they must take responsibility, partly or completely by themselves. There are 2 important concepts here, trust and resilience. The trust we have in organizations, political parties, and people stems from our previous experiences with those groups. The benefit of trust is the connection to other people, which can be beneficial in a crisis. And these connections can also explain why some disaster-affected communities cope with crisis and others do not. This is where resilience comes in. The most resilient communities tend to be those that work together towards a shared purpose. This mentality is, according to my study, stronger in the countryside. This could be one of the reasons rural residents manage crisis together to a higher degree. Another reason, behind rural areas' community resilience is the absence of state presence, which has led them to start preparing by themselves and helping each other instead of waiting for someone else to come. I have now answered the 2 research questions, and I want to go back to the aim of my study. So, how can we understand Swedish prepping today? People preparing for crisis are often portrayed as extreme in their measures, longing for disaster. But that's not the whole truth. American scholars argue that only a minority of preppers can be described as right-wing, anti-government, and doomsday-obsessed. And in most of preppers are normal people preparing for undesirable events. I have found the same conclusion in my study. The prepper has many different faces and can be your neighbor, your family member, or your friend. And that's a good thing, because preppers are resilient people on their own, and they can increase a community's resilience as well. Even though the prepping community is made up of a few people that prioritize themselves, prepping in general concerns strengthening society rather than abandoning it. I would say that few Swedish preppers live after the saying, one man for himself. And most of the people in this study want to increase their own preparedness, both practically and mentally, to be able to be there for other people. There are different reasons to be prepared and ways to approach it, but in the end, that matters less. Many have similar gear and skills, but different reasons for it. So, if crisis is just around the corner, where are you? I've learned many things from this study, but in summary, preparing for crisis does not have to be extreme. Everyone can do small things and changes in their lives, which increases the social resilience and makes us less vulnerable to crisis. First, consider what can happen to you where you live and in your lifestyle. Take precautions that are easy and help you in your own life. Second, invest in some food and gear that can help you. And third, get to know your neighbors, wherever you live. Working together is our best way to cope with crisis. And I know that I sound like a prepper now, but if nothing ever happens, at least you will be friends with your neighbors and have some really good camping gear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily. I think our audience learned something new from you. I know I did, at least. So, how did you decide on your topic?
Well, it started with the pandemic, as a lot has past year, and I read some articles about how there was the access to food was worse and borders were closing, and I started thinking about how we could manage better, and came into the thoughts of who are managing better, who are resilient to crisis. And I went on a deep dive in the Internet Forum Flashback, reading prepper threads, and got really interested and just decided that this is my subject.
Were you surprised by your findings?
Both yes and no. I think the fact that people in the countryside are more prepared and have been for longer is not very surprising. However, I think many of us, me included, have a lot of preconceived ideas about groups of people and maybe preppers especially. And it was fun to be able to maybe walk away from that image a bit and just realize that they're more than one person.
What was the most challenging part about writing your thesis?
It was definitely narrowing it down specifically to the informants, because as you saw earlier, I had a lot of answers to the survey, which was fun, but there were also about 100 people that wanted to be interviewed, which is so fun, but not, I didn't have the time for that since this is a thesis. So just picking who I could interview and deciding what perspectives to use and not, so that was the most challenging.
Yeah, so it was hard to analyze all the data you got.
Yeah, it was, and I used a few different methods, which was beneficial. I think the result came out really well, and I'm very proud of that. But just choosing and who can be in it, who cannot be in it, that was more difficult.
Would you say that you are prepared now?
Mentally, but then I think, well, before, you know what, if you had asked me in January, I would have said that it's difficult to be prepared when you live in a student corridor. But now I've learned that it's not, you can be anyway, so I'm working on it, I guess.
Oh, and the last question, what are your plans now?
Well, my plans are to look for a job for the fall, decide where I'm going to be and what to do, and also to celebrate my graduation on Saturday.
Okay, congratulations, and thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you.
If you are interested to learn more about Emily's work, you can find it on the website at slu.se/thesisday, just like all the presentations and much more. Once again, it's time to watch a greeting from one of our alumni. Let's watch.
Hi, my name is Victor, and for starter, I'm really happy to be joining you along this big day. So from 2 years ago from now, me and my friend had a dream of making a positive impact to planet Earth. We decided to do something that later turned out a success. A product called beeswax wraps. It's a product to be used around groceries or in kitchen, for example bowls or vegetables. So this product replaces single-use plastic and is also a fun and innovative product to be used in the kitchen. So it's said that knowledge is power, but knowledge comes in many different ways, as reading a book and learning the theory of something. But the second part is practicing it and find your own ways to solving the problems. So I guess through the thesis, several of you have learned a lot of things and get a hold of your future potential maybe. The key is to know how to learn new things, such as different methods to tackle a problem. It's not always the facts you learn that is the greatest, but rather how to find them out. So things change faster than ever in the world right now. And therefore it's a major to keep a positive mindset, to change and adopt your knowledge for making things that feel right for you in your heart. A big congratulations to your thesis day, and I wish you all the best. Hi.
After this wonderful greeting, it's time to meet our last student. Let us welcome Federico Budari, who is a student at the master program Sustainable Food System. He has made a thesis about front-of package nutrition labeling. Welcome, Federico.
Thank you, it's nice to be here. So, our history is full of description of people not having enough to eat, of famines and wars beginning with people not having enough food on their plates. In the recent years, however, a different situation has become more common, especially in Europe and other developed countries. We eat too much compared to what we actually consume. If nothing is done, 37% of the European population will be obese by 2030, and even more will be overweight. These conditions are related to diseases such as diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular problems, and so on, adding social, environmental, and economic problems to the health system of an already aging society. Several solutions have been proposed and implemented to try to solve, or at least hold back, the problem. Many countries created front-of-package nutrition labels with the aim of helping people make healthier choices while shopping for food. As the name suggests, these labels are shown on the side of the package that consumers actually see while shopping for food in the stores, and as a consequence are more easily used than the information on the back of the package. The ones on the slide here are some of the labels created by the countries in the European Union, and as you can see, they're really different from each other. Some identify the healthiest products inside of a food category. Some others also give negative grades, and some others just give numerical information about the nutrient content of a food. Some of them are found in just one country, and some in more countries. But as you can imagine, having so many different labels in a single market as the one of the European Union is a huge obstacle to the trade of food. At the same time, common problems call for common solutions. As part of the Farm to Fork strategy, the European Commission wants to find a mandatory front-of-package nutrition label to be used in all the European countries. The policy-making process is still at a very early stage, but the debate around it is already intense, as a lot is at stake and different parties have different ideas on how the common label should be like. So the aim of my thesis was to identify the themes of the debate around the development of an European front-of-package nutrition label. And in order to gather the necessary data, I started by asking myself, who can influence the legislative process and which countries would be more interesting to look at and compare? I decided to look at actors such as the European institutions, the food agency of the member countries, the association of consumers, and the representative of businesses. And I also decided to focus on two member states like Sweden and Italy. The reason is that these countries have very different experience when it comes to this type of labeling. Sweden, as you might know, as you've seen that in the stores, has developed the keyhole label in 1989, and since then the label has become widespread in the country and in other Nordics. The label identifies the healthiest products inside of a category, and it's based on the Nordic dietary recommendation. Italy, on the other hand, has developed the label at the end of 2020, and it's still nowhere to be found in the Italian food stores. The label gives numerical information about the energy content and the amount of food nutrients in a portion of a specific food, as well as how much they contribute to the recommended intake for an of age adult. So in order to gather data, I decided to conduct interview with the representative of the different organizations we've talked about, but also I decided to read documents and analyze them. Example of documents were those that the organization sent to each other, those that were sent to the European Union, but also those that were sent to the wider public. And now we will look at the results of these interviews and documents. So the Association of Consumers of both countries are compact on how the common label should be like. They advocate their position both on a national scale, but also on the European level. Their ideal label is mandatory, is based on colors, and it shows a full range of grades, indicating the healthiness of each food product. They also think that the label should be based on 100 grams or millimeters of food, as many other labels are. A label with these features, they argue, would be the most easily used by normal people while shopping and could help them have healthier food baskets. The representative of food businesses, though, advocate for a very different type of label than consumers. They argue for a label that is voluntary, as it would be less of a burden to adapt to, and that does not stigmatize any product with negative grades. Their businesses are also in favor of a single label in the European Union, as it would create a level playing field and make it easier to export food from one country to the other. However, the business representatives disagree strongly among each other on other features of the label. The Italians would like the labels to be referred to the portion size, as it's the amount of food people actually eat. But the bigger disagreement, however, is between those that support the idea of a label that highlights the healthier products and those that think that no label can reflect the complexity of the relationship between a food and the health. The Italian businesses also think that it would be better to inform consumers with the nutrient content and let them conclude how the food fits in their diets. Both the Swedes and the Italian, then, share some doubts on the capacity of these labels to go over some differences in food traditions. At this stage of the development process, the two European institutions that are thought to be playing the biggest role in the development are the European Commission and the Council of Ministries. The European Commission is also responsible for writing the proposal that will be then discussed by the European Parliament and Council of Ministries. At this phase of the development, they're still collecting evidences on how different labels work in different European countries. And they are also collecting the point of views and the experiences of different actors in all the member states. The Council of Ministry is already discussing the feature the common label should have, but they still haven't got to any common conclusions, as there are many differences in what the different countries advocate. It's interesting to say, though, that the themes around which they debate are very similar to those on which the representatives of consumers and businesses agree or disagree upon. As of today, none of them has still found an agreement, and the proposal is yet to be written. So, as I've been briefly describing, the debate is still intense, and even considering only 2 member countries, there are still divergences on basically all aspects of the future label. While all the interviewees see the benefits of a common label, they disagree on what it should be like and based upon. The discussion, however, is expected to continue evolve and narrow down as the politicians make their decisions and scientific evidences supporting one label or another emerge, and political decisions are taken. But what is the best label? How should it be like, we can ask ourselves. Well, anyone has a very different opinion, as we've seen. But still, we could argue that the best solution is the best of those that is not the best of those that could potentially exist, but actually is the best of those that can actually be implemented. The best label, then, can be created only by systematically managing the discussion and by collecting the different points of view. Then, the European Union could finally have a single front-of-package nutrition label that satisfied both consumers and businesses, and contributes to a healthier societies for us all.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, how did you decide on your topic?
Well, I was reading the newspaper day after day, and I saw that there were many articles talking about this type of labeling, and they were expressing very strong positions and politicians rallying against a common European label. So I decided to start looking into it. Why are they so mad, and what's at stake?
Yeah, were you surprised by your findings?
Both yes and no. I mean, I was expecting to find many differences, both inside the country and across different member states, which I found. I was surprised that there's little collaboration between some similar organization. There's little dialogue going on between, for example, the different business organization in the European countries.
Yeah, what was the most challenging part about writing your thesis?
Well, Corona was challenging, it was hard to get motivation, but the other hard part was to narrow down the data from the interviews and documents, and when to decide to stop collecting new data, because it's interesting to get new ideas, but also hard to analyze.
Yeah. Do you personally have a favorite label?
Maybe the Swedish, but I shouldn't say that.
So, what are your plans now?
Well, celebrating the achievement, I guess, and I will try to keep on learning Swedish, and then I will look for a job.
Okay, thank you so much, Federico.
Thank you.
So, this was our last presentation for today. So, Elin, what's next on the agenda?
Well, it's time for the moment we all have been waiting for. The Best Poster Award, of course. A jury has evaluated the poster, and it's not an easy task to fulfill all the requirements. Our jury is made up of people with broad expertise, and we will now welcome one of the representatives from the jury, Lotta Nordmark, a lecturer at the Department of Biosystem and Technology here at SLU, to join us via video link to present the award.
So, do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Good. And you see me as well?
No, I don't think we see you quite yet. Maybe there are some technical problems. Okay. You can proceed.
Yes, I will proceed. So, thank you very much for letting me be a part of the Thesis Day 2021 as to be representing the jury of the Best Poster Award. I'm sitting in the very south of the SLU campus at Alnar. So here we have, we can send you, if we could, a smell of the beautiful magnolias that are showing their best side at the moment. But that technician we don't have yet. So, as you already have said, we have been a jury that have looked upon 60 posters, about 60 posters during the last couple of days. And we really have a very harsh job to access these posters, following the criteria that I think that you already have mentioned, that it will be a clear transmission, that title attract interest, not too much text, good graphic and layout, and a logical structure. And The students' poster show us, as you see and had seen, and as you could see, there's huge span SLU had in both natural science and social science. And students, your work shows knowledge that prepares you to participate in the important work that is now happening to achieve the Agenda 2030 goals. I'm really think that we could see in what you have shown us on your poster that you are really prepared for this work, this very important work. So I know that we are a little bit ahead in the program, but should I start to tell the result?
Yeah, I think it's good to do that. We are very interesting to know who the winner are.
Yes. So, SLU, we have a result. Emily Torselius from the Environmental Economic Management Master Program. We have chosen you as the first one. And you have the title, How Can Impact Be Accessed? And the jury motivation are as follows. The poster easily explains a complex problem with beautiful graphic using the entire surface. So by that, I congratulate from the whole jury to Emily Torselius.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear me or see me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much for the award. It's very nice. I thought it was a really fun task to make a poster and try to present your findings and topics in a very straightforward and fun way for a wider audience.
Yes, and we think that you have done it in a very well manner and follow the manual for how to do a good poster. So congratulations. It's really nice to see it, and it's very nice colored, and you have used the whole surface, and that's really good, and not too much text.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Congratulations, Emily. It's well deserved. The next award is the Global Sustainability Award.
I think we have some second places maybe.
Oh, second place.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that maybe Lotta? No? No.
Yes, I will continue.
Yeah, perfect.
It's okay. And are we waiting for the two second prize winners to come into the teams, or I just continue?
You can start with the first one.
Yes, I do so. Matilda Bertils from the Jägmästarprogram. We have chose your poster with the title, Who Calls the African Wild Dog? The motivations from the jury are as follow. A wild concept tamed into an animated and playful poster. So by that, we say from the jury, congratulations to you, Matilda Bertils.
Thank you. I think I'm visible now. Thanks for the award. It was very fun to make the poster, and it was a bit challenging to do so. But I'm very happy for the prize. So thank you.
You're welcome, and hopefully there's something that you maybe will continue with in the future, or
yeah, we'll see. I had a fun time in Zambia to collect the field data, and someday I might return for the PhD. That would be very fun to do.
I think there is some researchers there think that will be a good opportunity for you to do a PhD. So
yeah, that will be a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. So once again, congratulations for well done work.
Thanks.
Perfect. And then, Lotta, we have some in the studio. Maybe you can present them as well?
Absolutely. And that is nothing that we have been aware of, but I think that it's good that we are on the same, that we think the same, because the next one are Karin Andrén and Ebba Kyllenstierna, who has from the education made their thesis at the program Agronomic Economic. And Karin and Ebba, we have already been looking at. You have present your thesis in a very well manner already. So we already know that you have been working with Perennial Grains, and your title on your poster are "What about Perennial Grains?" And the jury motivation for you are that you have a clear and well-balanced message that puts Earth at the heart of the poster. So by that, we really want to congratulations to really good work on your thesis and your poster presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's amazing to end the studies this way.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. So we hope also that you will continue in what you are doing.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So we hope we do it as well.
Yes.
That's really good.
Yes.
So by that, I think that we have our ready from the jury of the best poster award, and I just say congratulations to all of you that take your exam during this year 2021, and say goodbye.
Thank you so much, Lotta. And congratulations, Emily, Matilda, Ebba, and Karin. It is well deserved. And now we're going to the Global Sustainability Award. It's an award that goes to the thesis that helps meet the Sustainable Development Goals. And to present the winner via video link, we welcome Ellen Anker Kofod, Coordinator National Food Strategy at Swedish Agency for Economic and Regional Growth.
Hi everyone, can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this invitation. I am very honored to be here today, and I would have loved to be in the studio with you. It's such a professional studio, and you've got good stemming going on. But another year, perhaps. It is what it is. It's 2021. I would like to start by presenting my jury colleagues who have had a tough job together with myself to announce or pick one winner for this Global Sustainability Award, which is I think it's the first year, right, that this award is being announced. So as you can see, it was not just myself, but a group of the 5 of us, Sepa, Johanna, Emily, and Niklas as well. And to start with, it was, like I said, a very tough job. We had, even if we only had 13 pitches, it was still a very tough decision, but we fully agree on this winner. To me, I must say, it was just a challenge to get back into the academic English when reading these pitches. And as you probably know, we are the jury consists of 5 alumni students. So we've all been part of your very journey before. There was no Global Sustainability Award at my time, so you are very lucky. Just to let you know, this is the big moment, right? Here are the formal words of the highly impressed jury. Developing future methods based on historic and indigenous knowledge, this project captures our immediate interests and leaves us wanting to learn more. Through a local approach and with a global impact, the chosen area of research raises important issues that global agriculture needs to overcome in order to develop in a sustainable manner. The connection to relevant sustainable development goals is clear, and the pitch is clean, creative, and wakes curiosity. We are eager to follow this researcher and would like to congratulate her for a well-written pitch and a highly relevant area of research. The Global Sustainability Award goes to Isabella Lundborg and her research on cover crops as a sustainable control method. Da, 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 da. Where are you, Isabella?
I am here. I hope you can see me. But yay! Hi, everybody, and thank you so much. I'm so happy about this, and I'm really excited about your motivation as well. It really warms my heart, and thank you so much. Yeah.
It's been so interesting. You had us Googling things, things that we didn't know about, but you work our interests in so many levels. So we just want to learn even more about this because it seems like such an interesting area of research. So well done on finding that. And like a sports comment question, how do you feel right now?
I feel really happy and acknowledged for my work, and I really hope that I'm really excited for the future of cover crops and how the management will evolve. So I'm also really hyped about it. So, but thank you so much. Yeah.
What is the next step for you then?
My next step is to finish my work. I haven't actually finished it, so I will be done in September, I hope, and then I will look for a work and see what the future holds.
Wow. Well, best of luck to you, and you should rest assured that you have 5 very interested readers of your final project.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it makes me really happy.
Okay, go celebrate, Isabella.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Ellen, and once again, congratulations to Isabella and all the other winners. It was correct that this was the first year we had this kind of prize, so we hope we can have it next year as well. We would also like to thank the jury for all their hard work. And before we end today's broadcast, we would like to give a warm welcome to our own SLU Vice Chancellor, Maria Knutsson Vedel.
Dear graduates or students soon to become graduates, you finish your studies in exceptional times that bring challenges to society. I thought that 2020 would probably be memorable as the year when we managed to reverse trends for the sake of climate. But instead, societies globally have made a major change for a completely different reason. For more than a year, we have practiced social distance, debated over the statistics, and definitely improved our digital skills considerably. And although many of us have acquaintances or relatives who lost their lives, not everything has been bad. I have seen how we reduce unnecessary travel, how one of the students in my house offer to shop for the elderly, and how workmates improve their teamwork and realize the importance of true friendship. And not the least, how many people more than ever talk about what we at SLU already know, the importance of Swedish food chain supply and how important it is with access to nature. Last year, it struck me that I have never seen so much people walking in the forest, or I had never seen so many new greenhouses and pallets for cultivation in the garden, or puppies. A lot of people have realized that it is fun, but it's not easy to grow your own food and get seeds to flourish. And there are quite a few animals that show interest in your kale or your flower. So your skills as alumni have probably never been as valued and longed for in society as this year. You finish your education at a university with a history. We are several hundred of years old, but we are still young. And since 1977, we are forged together by our focus on sustainable life and the sensible use of biological natural resources. Our environmental analysis monitors human environmental impact and provide decision makers with knowledge. Our research ranks high internationally, number 3 in the world, and address challenges to transform into a society that is sustainable ecologically, economically, and socially. We know that the climate is changing, but not how this will affect biological natural resources and society. And in a time when scientific facts are met by similar non-scientifically based statements, your scientifically founded knowledge will become more important than ever. And I hope you will use that knowledge in the future. I saw some years ago a graduation speech from a US principal who said that times are constantly changing, so it's impossible to give good advice for a long professional life. And the only thing he could think about was always use sunscreen. But I will try to give you an advice. Follow your heart. Do what you like to do. Dare to fail and improve. And you will get a chance to deepen and develop that interest during a long working life. Time will, as always, change, and you with them. And I hope that in 30 years, you will remember your time here at SLU as a very special time. 2021 as a very special year, and that following your heart led you to a career that proved to be just right for you. And I hope that what you learned here at SLU laid the foundation for that. So congratulations to you all, prospective and finished graduates.
Thank you, Maria. It's time to say our goodbye from the studio. But remember that the thesis day is not over yet. Now it's time to move to Wonder Me for some thesis day mingle, where you can find all the students' work and their thesis and more. You will find a link to the virtual network Wonder Me at slu.se/thesisday.
And directly after we are done here, you can join the wonder.me. But first, we would like to thank all of the students that have presented the projects, the alumni that have greeted us today, and the jury of expertise, of course. Our speaker for today did a great job, so we'd like to thank them as well, and all of you who have watched this broadcast. And of course, the hardworking staff behind the camera. Me and Emma would like to summon this day by letting you know that we have learned a lot from our amazing presenters for today. And I think that a lot of you from who's sitting behind your screens will learn more if you go to wonder.me to ask these people and many more all of your questions.
So goodbye for now, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. Bye!